Hey, this is TG. I wanted to show you something else I like to do. It's more collage-ish. I love doing collage work. I use it in my journals, but sometimes I just do it mainly in for itself. For this, I've used a child's board book that I've redone. You can do it on anything at all. These are just super cheap, and it's a nice thick thing to use. I just use a glue stick. I add more details with pen, paint pen, stamps, words, all different kind of pictures I take it from. I've got a bucket of images and backgrounds that I use, so I just glue and glue and glue until I'm happy with a page. They look weird to people, I get that, but for me it's relaxing. Another thing I do that's even less work, super duper easy, is I just take my scraps of paper and I glue them down. For this kind of style, which is super plain, I just do it on my Rolodex. I got a Rolodex from a thrift store. You guys, thrift stores are the way to go. Go there now. After you watch this, watch it a few times, then go. I just have a big vessel of scraps that I just glue on here till I like it. Have a long way to go yet. This is the Heidi Swap puncher for Rolodex cards. They have the holes in it, but once you glue over it, you need this punch. Just go get it now. It's so much easier. I cut them out for a while, but it just wasn't right. So there. This is the book I'm working on now. I'm prepping for a class I'm going to be doing, so I'm going to get some samples ready. Simple board book, plain old pages, and this is what I've done so far. No details yet, just a lot of gluing down. All different stuff from magazines, flyers, newspapers. It looks weird now. It does. And there sometimes comes a theme, sometimes doesn't. But I kind of grab and glue with my background images, and then for the focal point, I look at the background images and then see what I should add. I decided to add her with the words for Arthur Murray. And this is the last page I just did. And here we go. This is the page we're going to do together. I've got my cigar boxes, of course, because those are my favorite. Here's my background images, random stuff, scraps of paper. If I have any extra paper or anything cool looking, I save it. I save every piece of paper. It's kind of a problem. These are my focal points, my images, food, animals, plants, whatever, anything that's like an object. For my backgrounds, I grab and glue. I really do. If I pick up I don't look, I pick a piece out of that box, and I have to use at least some of the piece. So lucky for me, I got a good chunk of scenery. I want to try for this page to put some bigger images on the back, so it's maybe a little bit less busy. I say that knowing that I'm lying, because every page I do, especially with collage, is pretty busy. I've yet to make a less busy page. But that's just how I roll. A dictionary page there, I think. So grab and glue. I picked up this piece that was a curved piece. I don't know where to put it. I'm going to save it for a minute. Use it. I'm not going to put it back because I have to use it. It's my fake rule that I made up. This I thought was kind of cool because I had cut some words out of the other side. So the back of the piece has this cool butterfly print that I'm going to use. And just adding more. I just try a piece out and see where I think it should go, what way it should go. I have to use some of the piece so I can tear stuff off if I need to. This one I got lucky. A great sky piece that fits perfectly across the top so I can fill in the top of my page. I have a few little spaces to fill in on the background. We'll get to that in a sec. This is a little chunk of my security envelope that I like to use for clouds. This piece I like. I want to add it somewhere, but it's a little too fat, so I'm going to thin it down. I want to bring some darkness to that bottom part there somehow. And I just kind of try it out and see, smack it down. When I was ripping that piece, I noticed that there was some blue on the back of it, so I'm going to flip that piece over and use the back side of it. And fill in that little space there. I still have this green thing to use. I'm not going to delete this because if I have to suffer through it, so do you. It's kind of fun to figure out where it's going to go, but at the same time, it's kind of tricky. Then I remembered I don't have to use the whole piece, just a little bit of it. Yay! So I decided to put it on top of another piece. Layering strips of paper adds so much, I feel. So much. Thinning down some more pieces. This is a piece of deli paper. Deli paper I got from Gordon Food Service. It's like what you do with sandwiches when you go to a restaurant or store, I guess. When you paint over top of it and glue it down, it's see-through. So I use them to soak up paint from other projects. So they're all painted up, and I cut them up and glue them down. And I wasn't looking what I was picking up, and I picked up another one of those stinking green pieces, so I gotta glue it down somewhere. Alright, that's gonna have to work. Now, I know that I can glue over anything at all, and I just don't know what's gonna come. I just didn't know where to put it, but it can easily be glued over. It's no big deal. Picked up another cloud on the way. Okay, time for my focal point now. I grabbed this rooster, and I feel like he needs to be on there. I'm not really sure why, but we're going to use him there. For my focal points, I am more particular. I don't just grab and glue, although I did grab him, but I liked him. So now I had to figure out, why is there a rooster on this page? To go with the beach, the sky, the green, and then I found this. Nuclear Lane, perfect. I'm going to cut this out. For collage books, you can be very detailed in your cutting, but you don't have to be. I'm going to be a little bit messy with this. Leave some sky around the pole of it to kind of blend in with the sky in the background. Not sure exactly where I'm going to put these, but that seems to work. I don't want to have just a pole floating in the middle of my page. I could. It wouldn't matter, but for me it kind of bugs me, so I'm going to add a little bit more to hide it. Great thing about collage, you can cover anything up. There. Now it looks like it's coming from the ground. I always glue from the middle going out so I don't curl up my piece corners. Find the perfect spot for him. And the same thing with rubbing. I use a lint-free cloth and rub that out to smooth them down. I found a fishtail in the box, so I thought since we're on Nuclear Lane, might as well add a fish in there. I love using fish and birds. I don't use them very much, but when I can do it, for some reason, I think it's so cool. So right now, I'm feeling pretty cool. Just because I found a fish part in my box of paper. And I do rip it, but I can easily glue it back together. That's what we're doing today, gluing. There. I felt like there needed to be a few more words, so I grabbed this dictionary page and I'm cutting out the definition for loss, L-O-S-S. I just happened to be on there, and that was the best word I thought that would fit with this page. Since you are living in a nuclear world, you probably lose things. I don't know. I have no idea. I just make stuff up as I glue. Alright, so there we go. That is what I did. These are my glued down pieces, close-ups. I love doing close-ups. It's just fun to see it in a different way. A cool thing to do too, I like to do, is when I'm working on something, if I want to see it in a different way, I take a picture of it with my phone and look at it through the phone. It gives you a new view. These are my little baby rubber stamps. I'm going to do some stamping on here. A lot of this paper is glossy paper, so you're going to see how it's kind of wet for a long time. This is my rubber stamp cleaner. I'm kind of particular about this. I have a mixture of soapy water I spray on there so that when I'm done stamping, I can quick wash it off. I just like to do that so my inks don't carry over. You don't have to. Some people don't care at all. I do. So I'm going to quick rub it across there and then dry it with a towel. Throw it back in the box. Good to go. I don't know what I'm going to do or where I'm going to do it, so I'm just kind of picking colors and doing whatever. I start with bigger details first. So that's why I'm doing the stamps that are going to be in the background. And sometimes, like here, that was deli paper that I just used. And I used my extra ink and stamped it on the deli paper to start filling a new page with stuff so I can use it on another collage piece. These Stamp It Up stamps I got from the thrift store as well. They were totally dry, and one of my Instagram friends filled them up for me. She had all the colors, so I've been using these things for years. So, more stamping. I love using different colors in different places. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. Still fun to do. Now this was black that I'm using, and it's going to be a bigger stamp, and I don't want it to be as bold, so I'm just going to stamp it off a bit and then add it to where on my page, so it's a little bit less, a little bit more faded, but yet still there. And drying it. This is tricky to dry because it's pretty glossy, and that Stampin' Up ink doesn't dry very well. So I'm pressing up and down with a Kleenex to get it off. Now my next detail is paint pens. My Montana acrylic paint pens are my favorite. You use Sharpie, Craftsmart, whatever you want. Do whatever, dots, lines, bumps, humps. Wherever you feel that color needs to be, stick it down. Since it was so glossy with the orange that I did in the bottom, I decided just to stamp this up with a Kleenex. It does get a little blurry and kind of carry over some ink, but I don't care. Just adds more fun to it. Decided to add some nuclear rays shining down from the sun. I'm going to dry this yellow and then reapply it. Now that it's dry, it kind of fades just a bit, so I'm going to brighten it up, just go over what I have. There. The bottom there, that orange on the rooster is not drying, so I just decided to rub it all off. It's not even visible in the dark, so I just took it off. Now I'm going to hide my smudges. Paint pens add so much. You don't need every color. Just get a few fun colors, a black and white for sure. They just add so much to a page. It's so, for lettering, for dots, line, for details, for tracing around things, and you can layer them up, and they're so opaque that you'll see both colors. I love it. Adding some green, making him a little bit radioactive since he's on this street. I don't like this, so I'm going to get rid of it. I blotted up with a Kleenex, and then I'm going to grab a wipe. In my wiping, I do take off some of the stamp and blur that, which kind of I don't care about, but it does look a little bit like I wiped it off. So I'm going to fix that later on. Drying that a bit, adding some more on the bottom, or redoing it, I guess, sorry, to brighten it up a bit more. And adding some fun details there. Look how that pops in that dark background. Love it. Love it. What would I do without my heat gun or blow dryer? Some of you guys actually wait for it to dry. I don't know how you do it. Alright, there you go. Fixed it. Drying that up a little bit. Adding some to his little thingy. And now gel pens are usually my last step, almost. I picked a dark burgundy to go with that sunset background, and none of it shows up, which kind of I don't mind sometimes, but this time it's just pointless. Sometimes if you have something that's not visible and you wiggle the page, you'll see a shimmer of it, and that's fun, but this was just useless. So I'm using it other places. Just little tiny bumps and humps, little tiny marks. They call them marks when you doodle. It's just making a mark, doodling. My white signal gel pen, adding some more to the page with that, that also makes things pop so well. I don't want to add a ton of doodles and marks on the page, because then you can't see what I have glued down. I still want that to show. But when you do this with paint pens and whatever kind of things you want to use, it really smooths out those lines to make things less harsh. Sometimes, yeah, it just works cool. Adding dots around the rooster, because dots are what I have to put on everything in the world. And just tiny little dashes all the way up and down, whatever you want. I want to make that fish stand out a little bit more, so I'm just going to go around him. I'm going to do it with a loose line, kind of messy, going over it. Purposely going on top of him just to thicken it up and make him pop out a little bit more. Now these are my new favorite thing. They're the Zig Wink of Stella brush paint pen. Oh my gosh, you guys, I met these pens at the Kelly Kilmer art class that I took, and I love them. They show no mercy. Once you put them down, they are stuck. But they have a softer color, almost like you did a watercolor pencil kind of color, and then they shimmer like crazy. But not, well, yeah, they shimmer a lot, but not that it's blinding at all. You're going to be okay. But they're so pretty, so pretty. So I just got a few, I got them all today. Well, like 4 of them are on clearance, so I got those. And I'm just adding as many colors as I possibly can to this page because I want to try out every single color. This is a white one I'm doing on top of the things. At first it was clear, but then as it dried it did turn white. So that's why I'm kind of putting it everywhere, because I have no idea if it's going to show. And then it does show. Go white. They look like eyeliners. I've always seen them in the store and I thought they were kind of weird. So this is it. That's it. It looks weird. It looks kind of random, totally random. But yet it's fun coming up with a story to pull it all together. Some details. You can see how the page has changed a lot. So I made it my own. And there's some more details. Love that. Love how it fills up all the marks and lines. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you later.